Good afternoon. This is Don Hatfield, and we're going to talk quickly about, or for a few minutes, about starting a painting on a blank canvas. The underpainting, if you will, or the initial draw-in, okay? Underpainting to me would be totally covering the canvas and blocking in with color. All I'm going to do today is show you the initial positioning of the figures using a paintbrush and just some little dabs of yellow ochre. Doesn't matter, and I'm going to use this as a piece of charcoal. And basically, the way I create an underdrawing is the way Nicolaides teaches gesture drawing. I go for the large shapes, the large direction, and that's it. I don't render very much in detail. I could, and I have on occasion, but I find in the end it's really not that helpful because the number of changes I have to make along the way kind of obviate what I do initially with all the effort. So I like to stay very flexible in the drawing and be able to make changes in color and composition clear to the end of the painting. This is a very stressful way to work, and I don't recommend it for everybody, but for those of you that are courageous enough to try it, to me it keeps the painting loose and flowing, and I come up with solutions to problems that I create that are unique. If I'm overly careful, I tend to paint from the wrist and the mind. If I take chances and try to walk on the water, it's a little easier to paint from the heart and with the emotions and with passion. Okay, so now here's the basic pose that I've put them in. And I'm just going to try to render this very quickly in a way that I think is a good design and that would be good to go ahead and paint at a later time. Okay, I see the top of her head here. I see the other model's head here, and so I have this line here and then this coming off. So what I have then is something like this that goes here to that, to that, to that, and out. That leaves this whole area is kind of problematic. And so maybe the horizon of the ocean is, maybe we're off the horizon. And what we could have in here are foam patterns of water or what have you. So I'm going to, having basically very loosely thrown in those lines, I'm going to go back over them and refine them a little bit. I can see the hat here on this order. The arm comes down, and perhaps this arm comes off. Okay, we come the hats to there. The shoulder is there. The head is in her lap, but I'm not even thinking mainly of a lap and a head. I'm thinking of where this object cuts into that hat right there. Okay. Now, what I'd like you to understand is that every time I put a mark, a rendering mark on this canvas, like that's a mark, okay, top of her head's a mark, bottom of this hat's a mark, where the shoulder comes out from behind the hat. Whenever I put a line in or a curve or a mark, I'm doing coordinates. So I'm looking at the top of her head and where it cuts into the hat, where it hits, where the shoulder is, where her shoulder is going to fall, where her knee is, and so forth. This is called, for me, it's called aiming your shot, okay? When I do this, it's not aimless scribbling. It's moving around quickly because it's it's easier to be accurate when you're moving quickly and looking at something as a whole and looking with your peripheral vision than it is staring at it. Now that may seem counterintuitive, but it's true. You make better choices when you think in terms of the overall shape and the gesture and the general position of things than when you work extremely carefully. Now, I'm not saying that you can't start here and draw perfectly down to here and clear off the page. It can be done. It's just not the way that I do it, and I render and draw underpainting with the view to the painting, not to the drawing itself, although I always keep drawing in mind. Okay, so the hat's there. I can see the knee cuts in there. It's to that. Here's her arm is coming. Can you keep your head down? You getting tired? Okay. Arm comes in here. Add a little bit of fluid to that to spread it. There's Ashley's shoulder coming into her hip. Here's her legs coming in here, and her feet are dropping off the end of the canvas. I'm going back here, locating this knee, the shoulder, the head, coming in here. And I can begin to see the basic placement that I've created here. Now, what I'll do at this point often is I'll go back and re-render it. Here's the top of the hat to that. This is coming around here. The back of the hat's cutting this way. Here's a little shadow of the top of the hat. Okay, that's coming down there. The arm is coming in out this way, and I can go ahead and suggest a little shadow there. The direction of the arm is there, and so on and so forth. There's a shadow that comes to here. Over here's Ashley's hair to her chin. Pretty nice pose, actually. We have to use this tomorrow. Actually becoming kind of interested in it. Okay, her arm is to here. Now I look at Ashley's hand, and I look at this shoulder, and I see that the hand is about right there. There's the arm digging into her thigh. There's the shoulder. Okay, here's the knee. There's the... Now, when you get near the end of the canvas like this, the tendency is to try to shrink everything to get it to fit on the canvas. Very common mistake. If I look down at this, I can see that towel goes clear off the canvas. It's out here someplace. If I try to cut that towel to get the whole towel in because the border's there, I'm taking myself out of the picture as far as a real balanced and lovely drawing, okay? So be careful. Don't be afraid when you get to the edge of the canvas to make sure where things actually do end. Now, if I take the eye off with this arm, I want to be able to bring it back on with this line. So if I'm going to take you off the canvas, I want to bring you back on, okay, that way, okay? I'm looking over here at this white dress. This spills over there. There's the top of her hip, hits almost to the top of that hat. So I made that measurement. This drops in a little bit. You can move. There's this. We have the knee here coming up in here. Here are the legs. And this is coming off here. The foot would be out here, clear off the canvas. Then, like I said, we can do foam patterns in here. This is going to be sand in here. These two friends, she's just resting on her friend's knee. And that's the gesture initial drawing for this beach scene. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a risky and exciting way to work, but after all, what's the downside? It's only paint. Thanks a lot. Talk to you down the road.